This video will teach you about some vocabulary when graphing quadratics. So you can go ahead and pause this video so you can fill in the blanks to your notes and then push play when you're ready. So the graph of a quadratic function is called a parabola. So when you graph and the highest exponent, when the degree is 2, the highest exponent in the equation is 2 of the function, then it's going to make a shape when you connect the points. You're going to connect them and it's going to look like a U shape like this. Okay? It will either go up or it will go down. And we call this shape a parabola. Now a parabola has some special features, and the first one is it has what we call a vertex. It's the highest, we can call that the maximum, or it could be the lowest, the minimum point on the graph. So if we take a look at this example here, it has a minimum. The vertex is the most smallest point. It's the minimum of the graph. And again, this is called the vertex. It's either the very bottom of the graph or the very top. So this is called a vertex, and the vertex is this parabola's maximum. It's the highest point on the graph. So again, a vertex is either the lowest point on the graph or the highest point on the graph. Parabolas are symmetric about the vertex. So what that means is when you are graphing, and let's say that this point here is the vertex, if we know that there is a point here, and notice it is 1 away from the vertex here, then there's going to be another one 1 away on the other side. So we call that, this is called the axis of symmetry, and whatever's on the left side, there's going to be one on the right side. And the axis of symmetry goes right through the parabola. So if we have a point, let's say here, and it's 2 away, we're going to have one 2 away here. And again, a parabola, when you connect it, should make a U shape like this. And again, there's a reflection. Whatever's on the left is going to be on the right side. So that is what it means by parabolas are symmetrical about the vertex. Left and right sides are mirrors. And what we call this line here, that if we fold the graph on, everything on this side matches over here. This line right here is called a line or an axis of symmetry. It's the vertical line. It's imaginary, that's why we dash it. It's not really part of the graph, but it's the vertical line we draw over the parabola to show that everything on the left reflects over to the right. Also, a parabola can have an x-intercept. Any graph could have an x-intercept. And this is review from the class before. It is just the point or points where the graph touches the x-axis. So this particular graph here that I drew does not have an x-intercept. It does not cross the x-axis. But if I draw another one over here, okay, it would have 2 x-intercepts. So it's the point where the graph crosses the x-axis. And it could have none, it could have 2, or it could have 1, where it just touches once. Where to find the x-intercept, if you're given an equation, you would just plug in 0 for the y and then solve. Then the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So the point where the graph crosses the y-axis, and to find the y-intercept, if you're given an equation and you can't just look at a graph, you would plug in 0 for the x and evaluate. Okay, so these two words apply to not just parabolas. So this is vocab word 5 and 6 should feel like review to you. So let's go ahead and practice these words. I would recommend pausing this video and trying these out on your own, and then go ahead and push play to check your answers when you are done. So go ahead and practice the vocab we just wrote above, and then push play. All right, let's check in on your answers. So it says identify the vertex. The vertex is either the highest or the lowest point. So this one right here, this is the vertex. And the vertex is the point. We always start at the origin. We have to go over 2 in the positive direction. So 2. So x always goes first. And then we go up. This is the y-axis. We go up 1. So that is our vertex. Now the vertex is the very highest point, so we call that the maximum. So this is called the maximum point or the vertex. The axis of symmetry is that imaginary line that cuts the graph in half. So it's right here. And to write the equation of this line, we need an equation, so we need an equal sign. And from the class before this, you learned what the equation of a vertical line is. So the equation of a vertical line is x equals, and then all the x values on this vertical line, all the x values. So if I made a table for all the points on this line, for example, this ordered pair is at 2, -1. This ordered pair is at 2, -3. This ordered pair is at 2, 1. So all the x's on this vertical line are all 2. So that is the equation of the axis of symmetry. So if you just write 2, that is wrong. That is not an equation. 2 is not an equation. You need an equal sign. So remember, if you were to put y equals 2, that would be this line right here. It would be a horizontal line. So y equals a number is a horizontal line, whereas x equals a number is a vertical. My little trick to remember it is the top of an x makes a V for vertical. So anytime you graph a vertical line, it's x equals, and then the number all the x's are on the line. Okay, the next word to review is x-intercept. So it looks like we have 2 here, because this is the x-axis. It crosses here at 1, 0. And it crosses here at 3, 0. So if you just write 1 and 3, that is wrong. An x-intercept is a point or points. So you need to write it as an ordered pair when you write your answer. All right, now the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So this is the y-axis. And the graph, the parabola, crosses right here at 0, -3. Okay, then we have some review right here for domain and range. So remember, domain is from the left side to the right side. So if we look at the graph here, on the left, it keeps going left, more and more left. So it's going infinitely to the left, and the left side are all the negative numbers here, so -infinity. And then as we go to the right, it keeps going to the right more as the arrows keep going and going, so that's the positive side. And then the range is from the bottom to the top. So we start at the bottom of the graph, and the graph keeps going down. And the numbers going down here are all negative. So -infinity. And then bottom to top. So as we go to the top, the graph stops right here. And because the range is the y values, we want the y top value. So it's 1. And then we would put a bracket because this is solid. We always put parentheses around infinity, and we put a bracket around it if it's solid and it's a number. So we would put a parenthesis if it was an open circle, so if the circle looked like this right there.